I'll try to keep this as short and as simple as possible. Let's take a look inside. Pipe snake trailers' main idea is to install cables to the ground pipes, the pipes that are already in the ground. And for that there are two tools here that are important. First of all, we have pulling and pushing device, and then we have winch. And to do this, there are different ways how to do it, but I'm going to tell you the best way to do it, or the way that we think is the best way to do it. Some people do it other way, this is how we do it, or tell people to do it. And that is that when you have this installation situation where you need to get cable installed to pipe, first you take this snake here and then you attach this pulling tape to the snake, and then with the help of this pulling and pushing device you push this tape and snake into the pipe all the way to the other end where the cable is waiting, and then you attach this pulling tape to the cable that needs to be pulled, and the actual pulling will be done with the winch here. Now there are a couple of reasons why we recommend to do it this way. First of all is that this winch gives you much more pulling power than this pulling and pushing device. With the pulling and pushing device you can get approximately 300 kilos pulling force, but with the winch you can get 1000 kilo. The other reason to use winch instead of pulling and pushing device is the rod's price. You should always try to save this rod as much as possible, because it's about 5 times more expensive than this pulling tape. So in that light it's better to use this tape for pulling than the rod, because if this tape gets broken it's not that big deal to get a new one, but if this rod gets broken then most cases you need to get a new one, and that's why you should try to save it as much as possible. I know that some users don't use the winch at all, and in fact in cases when you have light cables like fiber optics, then it's okay to use this pulling and pushing device directly to pull them in, because if there are no heavy pullings then you can easily do it with this. But if you need more power then you should always have winch. It doesn't have to be this winch, you can use some other winch as well, but this is handy because it's in the same package with this. Okay, then how does this trailer works? First I'll explain it to you and then I'll shortly demonstrate. First of all, when you're using pulling and pushing device, there are basically only two controls that you need to know. First one is the hydraulic tightening control that opens this pulling and pushing device up or down. And the other control is the spinning. It makes the rod go forward and backward. And that's basically it. Just these two valves here that you need to know when you're operating with this. Then when you're using the winch, it's also real simple. Then you just need to turn this valve here to the other position, and then you can use the spinning valve to operate the winch. The winch also, it goes forward and backward. Real simple. And of course, when you need to let this tape roll in freely, then you have this locking switch here that you can use. Okay, let's go through these other things also. Here, this is called mammut connector. If you don't need it, you can remove it easily by taking these two nuts open here and then just remove it. But if you want to use it, it's meant to be used so that you take the normal 50 millimeter water hose and you can attach it here and then tighten this. And that water hose you can use to guide the snake to the pipe that is on the ground. Okay, then there are a couple of other valves here that it's good to know that they are there. First, this is the flow control valve. With this you can control a little bit of how fast does the hydraulic oil goes into the pipe. So with this you can get a little bit more speed to the pulling and pushing device or to the winch. And then there is this source selection valve. This means basically that with this valve you select if you're using the pulling and pushing device or the winch. This is for that. Then we have this mechanical counter here that shows how many meters of snake you have pushed or pulled in. It has a metric display that shows you up to 9,999 meters, and it can be reset from here. Okay, back here you can see this hydraulic brake system. It has a hydraulic piston and the brake pad. And the way that this works is that when the trailer is not running or anything, it's always locked. So like now this drum doesn't move anywhere because it's locked. Now this is a good thing for the transport. Previously when we didn't have this, the drum needed always to be tied up somehow so that it wouldn't spin during the transportation. And it works so that when operator moves the spinning valve back or forward, then first this brake opens and then it starts to push the snake forward or backward. And when the operator lets go of the handle, then this brake will always go automatically on. Now I have explained this before, but this is a good in the situations where you're pushing the snake to the pipe real fast and then something happens, something causes the snake to stop suddenly. Now previously when we didn't have this brake, what normally would happen is that user lets go of the handle, it stopped the pushing device, but this drum, it has a lot of mass, so it continued rolling, and in some cases it broke this rod instantly. And that's why it's good now that we have this brake, so this won't happen so easily. Okay, another thing that is good to know, but you normally don't need to use these, but I think you should know this. Here is this meter. This shows the control pressure for the hydraulic brake. It should be approximately 10 bars, the pressure, always here, even if it's not running. And if for any reason this changes, goes to zero or anything, then here's this little valve that you can use to adjust it back to the 10 bars. And the way you adjust this, it's explained in the manual, and I'll try to explain it here also. First you turn on the engine, of course, so that the system is running. Then you need to get a little pressure here, and you can do it by using this valve here. This is the opening valve or pulling and pushing device. Use it a little bit so that the pressure gets into the system, and then with this and this simultaneously you use this valve and this, and you adjust it to approximately 10 bars. Now if it gets too high, like 20 or 30 bars, you can let it go a little bit with this valve, just open and close it, so that it gets approximately to 10 bars. Okay, a couple of more little details that are here. First of all, here's the emergency stop. If something happens and you need to turn off the engine, you just push this like that and engine goes off. And by the way, this is the biggest reasons why we get calls that the engine is not starting. and the reason is that users have turned it off from this and left it down, and when it's on down position the engine won't start. You can start it all you want, but it's not going to start until you pull this up like that. The other thing that is here is this little switch. This is for work light, that it's up there, and you can turn it on from this switch like this. And it has two positions, actually three positions. In the middle it's off, then when you turn it to the other side it goes on, and right now it takes power from battery that is in this trailer. And here's the other position, and now if we would have a car here and this would be attached and connected to the car, then it would take the power to the light from that car. So the thrill with this trailer goes that when you get this to the construction side or working side, you get this where you want it, you open this hood, turn on the engine, and then this trailer is basically ready to be used. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope this helped you. I'll see you later.